Hey guys, I want to do a review for the movie Elemental, the new Pixar movie which is out currently in theaters. And it is a disappointment to me at least because there are so many good Pixar movies out there. And I get the, feeling when you go to see a Pixar movie you want to see something kind of escapist, something entertaining and amazing. And they've been known for kind of having that same formula of what if a car had a soul? What if toys had a soul? What if emotions had souls? And people have made fun of that, and the formula has, I've given them a right to make fun of it because they've been able to rinse and repeat the formula, but they have brought, new characters to it. They've brought warmth, they've brought depth. However, this new movie, Elemental, to me is just the worst. Maybe there are worse films out there, but for Pixar, this really does feel like a low. It feels like they got stuck with this concept. They got stuck and they got, locked in a corner of what are we going to do. The whole movie is about elements, it's fire people and water people. And I had a friend who saw this movie and she liked it. And she said, this is a good story about immigration. It's a story about, an ethnic city, about people who are moving into a city who aren't from the city. And she said, kind of was relatable to her. And I can't speak for that as being like, well, sure, everyone has their opinion. But what I do think about the movie is it is so bland and on the nose. And I think there's better movies that explore topics of assimilating to a culture you're not familiar with. Look at Zootopia. That's the movie I, mentioned to her, and I was just thinking of while I was watching this. That movie's funnier. The jokes are just better. The characters are way better too. I think it all kind of connects in that way. But it's so much more faster paced. It has a good mystery in it too, that keeps you wondering what's happening. The story of Elemental is awful. It's really just the worst parts of a story like Zootopia. Judy Hopps is the same kind of character as Ember in this. They're both independent, trying to break free from what they've been expected to do their whole life. And the male characters are also, were just better in Zootopia. The guy was funnier. And this is what I'm talking about when I say Pixar gets stuck, and it frustrates me, in this concept, this conceptual, they can't think of anything else. And that is, like, the water people just cry. And I hate that. It's annoying as hell to watch. And I think that a problem is they get so stuck with, here are the traits our characters have. And once you've written a script, and for animation especially, you can't really change aspects of it because you're already animating it. You already have teams of hundreds of people working on it. So I think this is just a story that they got stuck with. And it is just such a flawed, boring story with nothing to offer. And like I said, the characters are so unlikable. There are much better characters out there from Pixar, but this is just really bad. Like, I really didn't like the main character, Wade. I guess people would think there's some, like, redemption arc with him, but to me it's just awful. Like, everything from his first appearance to how it ends with him. Like, there's no part where I was like, I like this guy. The whole thing with him, like, getting swept into her apartment or her dad's shop and then writing them code violations, and then they have to go fight the code violations that he had, like, caused in the first place, and then we're supposed to, like, care about their romance. The whole thing is just very boring. It's stakeless. And the stakes that are set up, like, they have to help a city, like, councilwoman fix a bridge or a leak, and then that, like, oh, this isn't gonna last. Like, they foreshadow, like, it's breaking, like, oh my god, the city's gonna, like it's gonna turn into the Batman, the end of the Batman 2022, but it's like, who gives a fuck? It's so boringly put together, and I'm sorry, because I know this is meant for children to watch, so I shouldn't be swearing, but the kids should be getting a better movie. Like, this came out at the same time as Across the Spider-Verse, which is breaking barriers, it's doing its own thing, it's an amazing film. But here, you just have Pixar kind of rinsing and repeating the same thing. It's like a bad dad joke that is, maybe funny the first minute, but then they just repeat the same dialogue. It's like the whole thing with the trees who are taking the apples, I guess, and they're like, just a little pruning. It's not really that funny. I think there's other, like, movies that just have a better sense of humor. Like Zootopia, the whole thing is funny and filled with subtext and layers and metaphors and jokes and references. This has none of that at all. And it's just so boring and vapid. Like, there's no point to watching it, I thought. And it just comes, down to, if you're going to make a movie, just make it for everyone. This feels like it doesn't even cater to little kids. Like, I think little kids will be bored by this. They should be getting something that, isn't so mature. Like, I don't think all kids are going to love Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse. It might be too mature or dark for some, but maybe the Minions is too silly. I don't know. My point is just, Pixar has a platform to make great movies, and they shouldn't be making movies this bland. Make a movie that, you already made Zootopia. Make something different, basically. So that's my opinion. I was very disappointed in this movie. So let me know what you guys think of it, and thanks for watching. Take it easy, guys.